Hello everyone, how's it going? I'm WoWcrendor and welcome to another episode of Pointless Top 10, a show where we make top 10 listed of pointless things. Why are we flying by this pointless statue in Booty Bay? Because inside pointless things are treasure. Let's begin. Number 10 is Feralus, and the main reason I picked Feralus is because I was recording Running Wild with Boar Thrills, my most recent machinima, and the more I was filming, the more I was like, this zone is a really beautiful zone. There's these waterfalls, there's trees, there's water, mountains, there's just everything, and it's just a very relaxing zone, and that's really it. It's just a relaxing zone. So it's number 10. Number 9 is Mula Gore, which is a zone a lot of people really hate. A lot of people are like, my least favorite zone in the game is Mula Gore. There's nothing there. It's plain, it's boring, it's too big, but those are a lot of the reasons I actually really like this zone, especially at night. It's another zone where it's very calming. I love the fact that it's just like the open plains. You can look up at the sky and you see all the stars and the moon. I love, if you haven't guessed already, really calming zones. I love the feeling of just relaxation. I could probably go set up an in-game campfire and just sit out there and look at the star. That's really nerdy. That's extremely nerdy, but I would do it, okay? Number 8 is Storm Peaks, and on top of just being a zone on my favorite continent, which is Northrend, and having really cool architecture and Ulduars there, I love the ambience and the environment and the feel of this entire zone. I sound like I'm critiquing art or something, like the ambience of this zone is phenomenal. Number 7 is Stranglethorn Vale, which I think is one of the prettiest zones when the sun is setting, but besides that fact, and the giant whirlpool from the Cataclysm that separates the zones now, I have a fun story about Stranglethorn Vale, which is when I first started playing WoW. Before I even started playing WoW, my friends had gotten the game, and I wanted to get the game, but I hadn't yet. And they were like, dude, we just got off the Zeppelin, and we're dying to raptors. And I was like, dude, I want to go die to raptors. Which is really stupid when you think about it. Like, oh man, I want to die to raptors. I want that experience in my life. Number 6 is Greasy Hills, which I think, with the environment and music and everything that tied it together, is one of the most beautiful zones Blizzard's probably ever created. And I think that's why it's a lot of people's favorite zone. However, I did not really enjoy the questing in Greasy Hills, and that's why it's not really my favorite. But if I had to just go chill somewhere, or like live somewhere in WoW, Greasy Hills might be my top location because it is a phenomenally designed zone. Is that even a word? Number 5 is not a zone many people would put on their favorites list. In fact, they'd probably put it on their most hated zone list, but that's Arathi Highlands, and it has that Mula Gore type feel, which I personally really like, but I know a lot of people don't like. But on top of that, I have this weird nostalgic memory of eating a gyro, waiting for an Arathi basin to pop back when you actually had to go to the zone, like the Barrens or Arathi Highlands, and wait for the queue to pop there. You couldn't just hit H and queue up for PvP, and the air conditioning was on full blast. I don't know why I remember all those details so specifically, or why I have such nostalgia tied to them, but you know what? It is what it is, and I love me some Arathi Highlands. Number 4 is Winter Spring, and I've always loved Winter Spring. I love leveling here. I loved mining thorium here when I used to mine thorium here back in Vanilla WoW. I'm a Tarn Warrior, and then I'd alternate between here and Azshara and go farm herbs in Azshara because I had herbalism mining. Besides the point, I love the zone, and I think one of my favorite things about the zone is the purple glow that's kind of everywhere, and then the just snow in general, because I like snow and snow zones, but it reminds me of when you go out at nighttime, like 2 a.m., and it's just very crisp and cold, clean air right after it just snowed, and the sky does have that kind of purple glow to it. It just reminds me of that. Plus, they used to have like 3 of these pack runners. Now there's only 1. What happened to the other 2? Did they just nerf this quest for no reason? That upset me, and it's something that shouldn't have upset me, and I don't know why I'm so mad about it. Number 3 is Howling Fjord, which I think is number 1 on a lot of people's lists, but it's almost like Greasy Hills, but with a more Nordic or Norse feel to it, and it's one of the first zones you got to experience when you went to Northrend, because you're not going to go to boring tundra, right? So everybody goes to the Howling Fjord, and for good reason. It's probably got some of the best art, I think, in all of World of Warcraft. Just everything is so well designed, so cool. The music, again, is amazing, and that's why it's number 3. Number 2 is Zanger Marsh, and I remember first coming into the zone and being like, oh my god, it's raining all the time. I love rain. Rain is, again, another relaxing thing. It's very blue. It's calming. I feel like for all these zones, I'm like, I like this zone because it's relaxing and calming. I don't know why obviously I know why I like to be relaxed and calm, but I don't feel like other people enjoy that as much in a video game scenario. I'm curious as to what you think, because I've always felt that in video games, I enjoy zones where I'm just like, yeah, this is cool. It's like therapy almost. I don't know. I don't even think about the questing, really. Like, the questing doesn't even play into it. It's mainly just how I feel in the zone. Is that weird? Am I weird? And number 1 is Nagrand, the place I used to call Nagrand all the time for some reason, but Nagrand, I think, is one of the most unique zones in all World of Warcraft. It is creatively scenic. I think that's a good word for it. Creatively scenic. The fact that there is waterfalls falling from floating islands, there's all these twisted and crazy trees. It's just a zone that kind of blows your mind when you walk into it. And on top of that, it's a very bright zone on a very dull continent. Where, you got like Zanger Marsh, Blade's Edge, Shadow Moon Valley, all these darker themed zones. Then you got Nagrand, that's it's like blah. That's Nagrand as a sound effect. Blah. All right, I think it's time. I think we're done. Okay, okay. See ya.